The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by ShootProof, the easy way to proof and sell your photos online.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Curran and Joseph Christina as they chat about the art and business of photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 143. I'm Joseph Christina. On last week's episode, we discussed a huge security flaw in both Apple's iOS and OS X, Pentec's new 645D2, looked at new lenses from all the major manufacturers, and provided a list of habits that may be hindering your success. If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com, in iTunes, listen with the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, or Xbox Music apps, or watch in HD on TiVo. So, all right, guys, we are back. Like I said, it's episode 143. Amazing. Anyways, it's been a real crazy week. You're probably receiving this a few hours later than normal. Release time has just been pushed back because I've been just swamped, busy. It's been from, attending a wedding that I actually wasn't shooting for once. That's so rare, but that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. My camera of choice is my iPhone, which is so much easier than carrying around the 15-pound monstrosity. Also, I'm still working on another patent product that I've been working on for a bit. I'll tell you guys more about that in a few months, just finishing that up. It's tax season, so I've been working on taxes in all that free time that I have, which is, coming up right around the corner. And the main thing is I had multiple galas, and, this is the season for gala events, and I do galas on a regular basis. It's my thing. I do a lot of other professional, like commercial photography, but galas are just something that I get called for because I've done them, and I think I do them right for many, many years. And they just know that they can count on the studio for, not only providing really good final collateral material that they can use to go to press with, number one, but the service is impeccable before, after, and at the end. So it's that's kind of what we do and how we do it. So I'm going to actually talk to you more about how I do some of the gala events and what do I do to kind of make them work as well as I have over the years. So I'll talk more about that towards the end of the show. But before I get into anything this week, we have to do the Trev update. So how's Trevor? Where's Waldo? Trevor's doing really well. I asked him just recently. I haven't been able to talk to him for a few weeks now. So he finally completed his 30 bouts of radiation for the cancer that he had on his tongue, which, if you're not aware of, that's where he's been. If you haven't listened to the last couple of shows, he's still not feeling absolutely 100%, even though the radiation has stopped. It takes a while, I guess, to kind of dissipate and all those sores, and it's almost like sunburn is what he was saying. It's radiation just burns. It's just what it does. It kills all the cells, good and bad, around a specific area. So he lost his voice. Like I said, I haven't been able to talk to him, so we've been texting a lot. But his voice is probably going to slowly come back, according to the doctors. It's just all of that phlegm build up and the sores and whatnot. It's just day by day, he's going to obviously start getting better and better. They're saying within probably a month, he should be at close to 100%. And they're saying that after 6 months, it'll be just like nothing ever happened. So that's just amazing. So he's got to follow up with his docs. In a couple of weeks, they're probably going to go ahead and take a look at everything, put him back into the speech therapist to make sure everything is going well that way. And they'll do one more PET scan to make sure he is cancer-free, and that would be in 3 months. So that's kind of the Trevor update, and 2 thumbs up to you guys for all those well wishes. Keep them coming. That just really helps out a lot. So anyways, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, I'm going to go ahead and have us kind of take a little break and listen to a couple of our sponsors.
As photographers, we're always trying to increase sales and profits after every event.
We shoot an event and have hundreds or even thousands of images that just sit on our hard drives.
Perhaps a better workflow would increase sales by getting those valuable images in front of the client.
That's where ShootProof comes in. At shootproof.com, you can have an online gallery for all of your clients' proofing needs.
ShootProof helps increase profits while building your brand and securing your photos without charging commission fees on sales.
ShootProof galleries display your photos beautifully while helping to streamline your workflow and automate more of your business through their intuitive studio control panel.
Once approved, photos can be directly fulfilled through ShootProof's various professional lab partners or fulfilled by you.
All ShootProof plans have the same feature set. You simply choose the number of client photos stored, decide what products to sell, and the price.
Try ShootProof today by taking advantage of their free 30-day trial offer.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, ShootProof is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans by using promo code DPC20 at checkout.
ShootProof. Upload, share, sell, print. Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener.
So, all right, guys, we are back. Last week, we talked about pretty in-depthly on the this Apple issue where it was having an SSL problem, where it was just a major security issue with their iOS. And they did finally put out there the patch, which would be iOS 7.0.6, I believe it was. And that actually patched this vulnerability that allowed people to get your data. You know, if you're on an unsecure network, let's say at Starbucks or Panera. By the way, I have my Starbucks here because it's been a long day. I might be taking a sip of that as we're going on with the show. But if you're at Starbucks, Panera, or someplace, you know, you're at the bookstore and you're in this insecure network and you go and do banking or you go and log into your, you know, eBay account or whatever, people can intercept the passwords, intercept your data. And what's kind of even worse is they can inject stuff. So things that you're not even doing, that you can go and do proxy for you. So it was a real major issue. They did correct it. But the problem that we were saying last week is that the same problem is it basically affects the OS X, so all the Apple machines also. So for quite some time after this, 10.9.1, which was the latest and greatest, had this, you know, SSL vulnerability, this problem. And just a few days ago, they finally released the patch. And I think the patch is funny. So they do the patch. Obviously, the patch is because they have this gaping hole that is problematic. But when you look at the update of what they did with 10.9.2, Apple puts in there like adds ability to receive FaceTime audio calls, adds support for FaceTime audio calls and video calls, call waiting, blocking iMessages from certain people, certain individuals if you want. And this whole litany of things that this 10.9.2 does, when we know that there's a major problem with the vulnerability in 10.9.1. The very last thing, absolute last thing that they have on the update list is what? Provides a fix for SSL connection verification. Like, no kidding. That's just awesome. I love you, Apple. It's just, they know how to work it. It's just awesome. Them and Nikon, they kind of get it. They get it right. They're really good at customer service, customer support, and then also perceived customer service and support. So that kind of moves into Nikon. We talked about Nikon, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or whatnot, and we were saying how we found online I think it was like a receipt for the replacement of a D600 for a D610, and it was due to dirty sensor. And we all know, if you haven't been under a rock for a month or two, or even longer, Nikon, the D600s had this just problematic sensor. It has oil on the sensor, tons of dust. It's just a mess. Okay, it's a mess. And when we saw this receipt, we're like, okay, guys, maybe if you have a D600, you're going to get a new camera. You're going to be upgraded to the latest and greatest, the D610. And well, that might not be the case, but what is the case, which is really kind of interesting, is they finally put out an advisory. And the advisory does speak on this topic. And the advisory is kind of interesting. I'm going to kind of read it to you guys because it's kind of cool. And it really shows Nikon. It really shows their colors. So their advisory reads, some users of Nikon D600 DSLR camera have reported the appearance of tiny spots on some of their images. Spots, really? Yeah, it's called dust. Not all users have experienced this issue. So I like this. So then they continue. Nikon has thoroughly evaluated these reports and has determined that these spots are caused by dust particles, which may become visible when the camera is used in certain circumstances and or with certain settings. Really, it is a well-known fact that the presence of dust particles cannot be completely avoided when using a DSLR camera, even after normal sensor cleaning procedures, because of a number of factors, including components moving at high speeds when images are taken, the use of interchangeable lenses, and the different environments in which the DSLR camera may be used in. I just like it. They're just so PC. They're just so nicely stated. Don't you love this? As part of its customer service commitment, Nikon is providing a customer service measure to reduce the potential impact of dust particles on images taken by its D600 DSLR cameras. So here's the solution, guys. Here's the solution. It says, Nikon is making available to all owners of the D600 camera, in quotes here, even if Nikon's product warranty has expired. That's critical. Keep that in mind. Even if the warranty has expired. This customer service measure, which includes the inspection, cleaning, and replacement of shutter assembly and related parts of your camera, free of charge, as well as the cost of shipping the D600 camera to Nikon and its return to you. Nice. I like that. Once again, please understand that regardless of this service, your D600 camera, as is the case with all DSLR cameras, will continue to require normal periodic sensor cleaning. So, bravo, Nikon. Well stated, well done. This issue's been a major issue for quite some time. It's like the Achilles heel. It's like one of those thorns that it just won't go away, and it's there and it's there. Eventually, if you can't pull it out with tweezers, it needs to be cut out. And here, they're really going to have to cut this out because it's going to be expensive for them. This is not a cheap service advisory. This means every single customer that owns a D600, they can today, as you hear this, even before, send in that D600 for a brand new shutter. Think about that. So you've been using this D600 for 6 months, let's say, and you've already put 50,000 clicks on it, so to speak. You send it in, you're going to get a brand new one. That's fabulous. I mean, you can't beat that. Like I said, kudos to Nikon. Obviously it has to be stated the way it's stated. It's always funny whenever I read these things, just how they kind of, skirt around. Just the bottom line is we put a sensor in here, which obviously is not sealed properly. It's a malfunction. It's not properly made, or it was problematic at the very onset. of installation, right? Now, this had this problem for a long period of time. Now we're going to have to correct for it, and they're actually doing it. So like I said, Nikon, kudos. Customer service, the same thing as Apple. It doesn't matter really what they say and how they skirt around it. As long as they make good on their product, it just gives that perceived notion, the perceived value of them that it's just higher than the rest. Kudos once again. So anyways, that's the Nikon advisory. I love it. Really, really cool. So let me get into a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. And this is more of kind of like an informational thing that doing galas for such a long time, I kind of want to share my procedure with you guys and what do I do? A way of kind of educating. They take it kind of what it's worth. So for me, when I do high-end galas or black tie events, there's a whole list of things of what not to do. So, and that so many people do still to this day, and I don't even know how they get the work. But anyways, number one, don't treat the gala like a bar mitzvah. And I've said this in the past, and it's just absolutely true. And even if the organization asks for certain things that are very, let's say, I call it cheesy, just advise differently and say that's not really how it should be done. The absolute worst thing is someone coming to a gala and all of a sudden they come through and it looks like they're passing through to the Lido deck and taking that cruise ship photograph with like a green screen or some kind of horrid background. That's horrible. That's horrendous. That's not where it should be. And even worse, don't provide photos on scene, on location. And a lot of the organizations, they want that because they think that their attendees want that as a way of a memento of taking something home. Don't do that. If it's a bar mitzvah or something and you set up like 4 or 5 die subs and you're taking the pictures and you have a runner that's pulling your, the CF cards and running clean cards back out to where they're taking these photographs, and then these people are pushing these photographs through, and by the end of the day you have all of these printed 4x6s. Well, you don't want to do that. Don't go grab those Kodak die subs and start printing on location. It looks ridiculous. It does not look like a black tie event. It just simply doesn't. You have these people that are, showing up in like Grammy gowns, and the guys are wearing full tuxes that most likely they own because these are extremely wealthy people. I mean, none of them, I promise you, none of them wants to hold a photograph of themselves in like a paper envelope around all night. Or even worse, I've seen this, a paper frame with their photograph in it of themselves. And what are they going to do? They're going to put it on the table, the picture. It's just horrible. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's bad. It's horrible. It's completely horrible. So the way I work it, and I'm sure there's others that work it this way, but I'll tell you exactly what I do. And, maybe some of this can help you guys. So what I do is, number one, I start out with educating the client because they need to know what you can do and what you can do different from the other commercial photographers or event photographers out there. Why should they hire you over the next guy? And you really need to tell them and describe to them. And if they, like I said, want one of these kind of, as I call, cheesy type of things, instruct differently and say, okay, well that worked great in the end of the 90s, early 2000s, or if you have just like a standard event party or a bar mitzvah or something like that. But for black tie or for a gala, you probably shouldn't do that. And here's something that might work out better for your attendees. And the end result here is it makes the organization look bigger, wiser, more current. So, for me, I start out with the website and I'll create a landing page for that specific event. That's number one. There has to be a landing page for someone to go to, right? And what's even nicer is if you take that landing page and you set up let's say a tab at the top, because someone's going to look and they're going to type in the URL and they're going to get the URL wrong and it's going to go straight default back to your homepage and you'll be like, okay, where's the pictures? So you don't want that to happen. I would put a tab at the top or some type of link on the main page, and take it down after a few days. You don't have to leave it there. It's not a necessity. So for me, what I do is I provide a free photograph for every couple that attends. So what that means is, let's say, for example, a gal that we just worked, Mr. Trump over at Donald Trump's place, for a nonprofit. It was like, I don't know, it was 200 and some people or whatnot. So you're looking at about 100, 150, let's say couples. Let's just give that as an example. So each one of those couples will get a card. All right. Now, the thing is, you need to start on that card on the very front is you need a logo of the organization. So they know that this card kind of like means business. It's directly from them, or it's through a photographer that's working for them. And it's not just like one of those random, photo cards that you get from Disney World that, you scan in, you go to the website and you can go buy photos. It's not that kind of card. So you put their logo on there. That's like to begin with, so that it gives some sense of authenticity to the card. You also want to put the name of the event. That's very important. And the date, so that they know when this card is for, what it's for. And then, of course, you put the URL to that landing page that I was just discussing. So that when they type in that URL, it takes them straight to the landing page. And at that landing page, you can instruct them on what to do. You don't want to just take them straight to a gallery or something, and then they're lost. You're like, what do we do? What is the? Take them to a landing page so that you can have that initial contact with them. Thank them for coming. Thank them and whatnot. It's very, very important. So after that, on the same card, what I do is I put a redemption code. So if you guys are watching, I'm going to hold up one of these cards, and this card was from this complimentary photo card was from this week. So what we do is we put this redemption code. Now it's a long code, just like a software type of code. It's 4 and 4 and 4 digits, so you like 12 digit alphanumeric code. Each one of the cards that are printed, every single one, has a unique redemption code on there, right? So you don't have like someone that's, using the same code over and over and over and ends up with like 10 free photos that you're now mailing to them, because you are sending them a photo for free and you're sending them to them completely for free. That includes shipping. So remember, for each one, you got the packaging, you have the label, you have the postage itself, and you have the print of the photograph that goes into it also. So you need to make sure you have that single and unique redemption code on there. And then you want to put how long that redemption code is good for. It's not going to be good forever, right? So you want to start, let's say if you can turn it around like we do, 24 hours after the event, all photographs are up online like what we do. You want to put a date of 24 hours after, and then maybe 10 days. Or 7 days, whatever you feel whatever you feel comfortable with, because you sure don't want to have like an endless supply of photos going out there, from an event that happened 3 months ago. That would be ridiculous, right? So that pretty much finalized the front of that card, and it really shows them or instructs them on what they're getting, what they need to do, where they need to go, and whatnot. And they are receiving that complimentary photo. So what do you do for the back? Now you have a backside. Do you just leave it blank? Well, that'd be kind of foolish, right? You're going to be giving these cards to people that attended this gala black tie event. Well, why would you have nothing else on the card? Put your information, right? So for me, you can put on, your name or your business name, depends on how you're branding yourself or your business, and maybe a list of services. Right? What do you do? Do you just do event coverage? Do you also do other things? Like for me, I do branding portraitures. I do models and actors, headshots, and all types of coverage. Couture weddings. There's a ton of different things that I do, along with being like a DP, hired in as a DP, or an art director on a project. So there's a lot of different things that I have that the studio has available that they might be able to use. So I'll put it on the back. And then, of course, we need to put some easy way or some method to contact you. Maybe it's a phone number. Maybe it's a email address. Whatever it is that works best for you, that they can get in contact with you. For me, Putting a website, well, your website is already on the front, right, with the URL that's going to take them to that landing page that I was telling you about. So you really don't need to kind of reiterate that. For me, I like a phone number. I want someone to call me and say, hey, you were the photographer at this event. We just loved you and we want you for our event. Or we have this project going on for this ad company for doing X, Y, and Z. Is this something that your studio can do for us? Absolutely. So you need that contact. For me, I really like the phone number. It works. It just works the best for me. Now, remember, they're going to be going to this landing page. Now, what I do with the landing page is probably a little bit different. Like I said, some people will send them straight to a gallery. I don't like that. The landing page that I create is a landing page that has two options on it. Option number one takes them to a gallery, let's say, of photographs that they can look through and pick from and select a photo that they would like sent to them free of charge, right? That's option one. Option two would send them to an off-site gallery, which we use, that they can go to purchase additional photos. Because let's say they like the one, but there's another one that they really like also. Well, they only have one redemption code, so maybe they want to go and pick up another one. At that site, instead of just 4x6, they have the ability to do a 4x6, a 5x7, an 8x10, maybe a 12x18, and then all the way up to a gallery wrap monstrosity of a canvas print, whatever it might be. But that's your possible upsell right there. And the thing is not only does it help you because you can possibly get residuals, after the fact, a continuous income of people wanting to buy images from that specific event, but also it looks great for the organization because the organization is not going to get that phone call. Oh, I love that photograph, but I want another one. What do I need to do? Or can you get the photo for me or whatever? It's already all black and white. They can immediately go and make a purchase if they like. If they don't want to, they don't have to. It's not like you're force feeding them. You're giving those two options. They might never click option two, but the option is there. That is what is critical. You need to always give multiple options, and the option to upsell needs to be there. Now, on that page also, it's very important to be very explicit what you need them to do. Because if you're not, they're going to be fumbling around on that free photo gallery and not knowing what to do. So for me, I have all the photos on a page, all thumbnails. They can open them large if they want to look at them and scroll through them that way. But also a little tiny order form. It's not really an order form. Let's say a redemption form that simply asks for their name, address, phone number, city, state, zip code, this type of thing, and the redemption code, that redemption code that they find on their card, right? They're going to enter that in. We don't need any other information. There's no credit card taken. There's no nothing. Just their email address. And if they want to provide a phone number, they can, just in case there was some type of flub up or we need to get in contact with them somehow, let's say. It's important. So once that is done, they fill that information in. What happens? Now, does it immediately say thank you very much and your photo's coming? Well, that would be nice, right? Well, we don't do that. Once that is all completed, it once again goes to, instead of just a landing page, this is like a closing page. This is a thank you page. It goes to this page and it'll say, thank you very much. Your photograph will be in the mail post haste, momentarily or whatnot. Watch your mailbox for it. But then after that, it will go back into saying something as simple as, if you require any of these services, once again, just like you would have on the back of your card, please contact us. You need to finalize it with not only thanking them and hoping that they enjoyed the event and also enjoyed your coverage, but if there's anything that you can do for them, please contact us. Please contact me. And it finalizes it and it just gives a really nice, let's say, completion to it. So once that page is finished and they click done and end, where does it go? Does it leave them in limbo? No, it takes them to your front page. So now if they want, they can go and look through your portfolio or maybe read your blog or look at your contact information, or look at some testimonials, or maybe look at some of your past clients or whatnot, whatever you have available on your site, right? It needs to be a very holistic approach from beginning to end. It's very, very important. So anyways, guys, there's probably 100 different ways of providing just stellar gala coverage or event coverage. This is just one. This is just something that I do that has worked in the past, and we get rave reviews on this type of procedure. They're just ecstatic. It's just not the norm on what they normally receive when they go to an event. So we get the rave reviews, and then the organization continuously gets rave reviews. Oh my God, who did you use? What was the company? Who was that photographer? Pictures were awesome. We got them in the mail. It was like it was just amazing. Everything was smooth. So hopefully some of this information is just informative for you, on my method on how I do it. And if some of the things you can take from it, then so be it. That's fabulous. So, I always believe that, by teaching others in the community, it helps myself grow. And the same thing with you guys. When you teach someone photography or your method, it just helps you grow, because it helps you to articulate what you do and then mentally go over it to see if there's any type of flaws. If someone fat thumbs a URL, is there a way for them to somehow get around this fat thumb and still get to the end goal where you want them to go? And if not, you need to fix that kind of thing. So it definitely is important. So don't forget, the best teacher is now and has always been an absolute great student. So all right, guys, let's continue to learn from each other. And if you do something different, please send over some comments, send over an email, call the hotline. Tell us what you do. We would love to share it with the community. I'm sure we all would love to hear it. So anyways, we need to get out of here. Once again, we don't want to go too long. It's probably a 30-minute show, and I have so much to do. I need to get going myself. So to close, just kind of want to finalize. If you guys enjoyed it, please get in there and send us over a 5-star review through iTunes. That really helps us a lot. So if you do have the opportunity or the time, please go into Apple's iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, or actually type in a review. That would be fabulous. So all right, guys, we are out of here. If you'd like to contact myself or Trevor Current, you can do so through Twitter, and that's at Trevor Current, or at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H. You can get all the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/143. And don't forget to send us your questions and comments to comments@digitalphotographycafe.com, or simply call 440-345-6707. Once again, that's 440-345-6707, and we will see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe Show with Trevor Current and Joseph Christina. Be sure to subscribe to the show for free in iTunes or through RSS. You can also listen on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio and watch in HD on TiVo. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.